How does a shelter rise from the deep jungle? Skill versus the wild. No easy path. A foundation will be dug by hand. Raw timber will become a heavy frame. Thick mud will seal out the elements. A roof woven from bamboo, and survival caught straight from the stream. But the transformation starts here. Down in the mud, dry twigs gathered. A small fire built. The ground is claimed. Food comes first. The murky stream hides the harvest. She wades in deep. A large fish pulled from the water. Green leaves become a makeshift table. Energy for the heavy lifting ahead. Time to break ground. The machete clears the brush. Thick green vines give way. The sleeping mat is packed away. The shovel bites into the earth. A deep pit takes shape in the dirt. Heavy soil lifted out, shovel by shovel. A dark tarp goes up, temporary cover. The real structure begins next. The raw skeleton starts with fresh timber. Bark peeled away by hand. The handsaw cuts a clean notch. Sawdust hits the dirt. Every joint needs a tight fit. She drills the anchor points. A hand auger bores through the heavy wood. Wooden pegs driven home. The frame locks together. Long poles carried to the site. The weight is heavy. She lifts the top beams into place. The machete sharpens a wooden stake. Wood shavings scatter. Measuring tape checks the span, true and square. The mallet drives the stakes deep. The core frame stands on its own, solid, ready for the skin. Time passes. The skeleton waits for the mud. The roof needs weight. Thick mud balls packed by hand. She kneels on the bamboo frame, spreading the earth across the lattice. The wet mud fills the gaps, a heavy seal. The mountain air cools the plaster. More timber for the walls. Heavy logs dragged into the clearing. The handsaw cuts them to length. She splits the wood, fitting the rough planks into the frame. The structure starts to close in. Every plank adds warmth. The gaps disappear. The inside becomes a room. The machete trims the excess. Final planks pressed into place. The walls lock tight, raw wood stacked high. The interior takes shape. The dried mud cracks. A stone tool chips away the weak spots. Fresh plaster mixed, thick and gray. She slaps it onto the wooden slats. The chimney needs a fireproof seal. She reaches high to pack the interior. The hut breathes. A curved branch carved clean. The knife shapes the rough bark. A large wooden circle forms the window frame. She mounts it into the wall. The mallet drives a peg deep. The heavy ring sits flush, a view to the forest outside. Thin strips cut from raw sticks. The handsaw trims the bundle. A woven wooden mat takes shape on the dirt. The knife cleans the edges. A door for the entrance. The mallet sets the final pegs. Back inside. The final seal. Gray mud pushed onto the wooden planks. The gaps fill. Stacked mud balls build the lower wall. She steps back to look. The interior holds the warmth. The house is done. The land is next. She clears the brush. The handsaw drops a thick log. The metal hoe bites into the soil, tilling the dark earth, turning a wild clearing into a garden bed. The black goat watches. The soil is ready for seed. Boundaries marked. A sharpened stake hammered deep. The string line stretches across the plot. The perimeter set, straight and true against the forest edge. Hours later, the frame goes up, thick stakes driven into the dirt. Rope ties the joints tight. A solid outline, a barrier against the wild. Horizontal planks finish the job. She fits the wood along the stakes, building a tall wall around the plot. The gap closes piece by piece, a safe zone carved out of the dense green jungle. The perimeter is secure. a secondary barrier. Loose brown soil scooped into a wooden frame. She uses a long pole to tamp it down, packing the earth hard. The low mud wall wraps the courtyard. The heavy work pays off. A Hobbit-style homestead nested in the trees, complete, solid. Deep into the tangled vines. A new camp. The machete drops thick branches. The handsaw cuts a heavy log. She clears a rocky cave entrance, carving the base posts. A new platform frame begins against the stone. The jungle floor is wet. Elevation means dry sleep. Vines tie the joints tight. She builds the roof lattice above the platform. A large plastic sheet rolls out over the top, sealing the structure. Rain will slide right off. The dry zone expands. Bamboo drops to the blade. Long, thick poles lean against the rock wall. She carries bundles of green palm leaves, weaving the fronds together. A tight natural wall panel takes shape. The woven panel lifts into place, tied fast to the bamboo frame. The cave entrance vanishes behind the green screen. Hidden, sheltered, done. Back to the murky stream. The hunt. A dark fish pulled from the water, carried over the shoulder, cleaned on a flat, mossy rock. The knife sharpens a long bamboo pole, carving a notch deep into the green wood. Shavings hit the dirt. Thin strips cut clean. The blade splits the bamboo, a sharp point crafted in the shadows, ready for the fire. The meat prepped on the stone, skewered on thin sticks, wrapped tight. White bamboo pith peeled clean. A hollow pit in the loose soil. The wedge drives into the thick green segment. A small fire crackles to life. Dry sticks catch the spark. Smoke rises. She holds the long bamboo pole over the heat. The meal roasts inside the tube. Patience versus the flame. Too hot, the bamboo burns. Just right. The food steams perfectly. The untamed jungle is now a sheltered homestead. A frame carved from raw logs, walls packed with thick mud, and a garden pulled from the wild. True shelter isn't bought, it's earned by hand.